I thought South Carolina's decision was simple. Just another state, making another choice.
One vote among many. That's what history makes it seem like. But the truth was far more complicated and far more dangerous. This document carried more than words. It carried the future of a nation. South Carolina wasn't choosing ideals. It was choosing survival.
Every option carried a cost. Time was running out, and hesitation was no longer safe. Few people know what really happened next, and even fewer understand why. It's May 1788, and South Carolina is already running out of time.
The decision hasn't been made yet, but the pressure is already crushing.
Every seat in this room matters, because every vote will echo beyond these walls. There is no script for what comes next. Only consequences. Outside, life continues as normal. Inside, history is about to shift. One sound could change everything, but for now, silence rules.
Nothing has been written yet, which makes every moment dangerous.
This is where the story truly starts, and there's no turning back. This decision carried real risk, and failure was not an option. Trade kept South Carolina alive, and one mistake could cut it off. Every shipment depended on trust, and trust was fragile. Standing alone was dangerous. Isolation meant vulnerability. Protection was never guaranteed, especially for those without allies. Promises had been broken before, and memories of that failure lingered. Hope was present, but it was dangerously faint.
This was more than a vote. It was a gamble with the future. Most people think this vote was about unity. That's the story history prefers. But that version leaves something out. Something uncomfortable.
This state depended on the outside world, and independence came with risks.
Economic survival mattered more than ideals. Without trade, everything collapsed.
Freedom sounds powerful, but isolation is expensive.
Not everyone agreed on the path forward, and that division was dangerous.
South Carolina wasn't choosing ideals. It was choosing what it could afford to lose.
The real reasons stayed hidden. Until now.
Not all voices agreed on the Constitution. Some feared losing control of their future.
Debates raged late into the night. Even in empty rooms, the tension lingered. Economics and survival were on the line. No one could ignore the stakes.
Outside, life seemed calm and ordinary. Inside, the future was at risk.
Whispers of disagreement spread fast. Some feared rebellion, others compromise.
Every word written could change everything. Every decision held danger.
Outside, nature reflected the chaos within. The storm mirrored the state's unrest.
Every choice carried consequences, and history was watching.
Everyone says South Carolina voted to join the Union. But that wasn't the whole truth. The decision was driven by fear, not patriotism. Control over trade and power mattered more.
The Constitution offered freedom in theory, but it threatened some more than it helped. The vote wasn't about ideals or honor. It was about survival and advantage.
Profit and influence guided the decision, not what people were told later. Every vote carried hidden intentions, and history often overlooks them. Outside, the world watched quietly. Inside, power was being negotiated. This vote changed the game quietly, and few realized how deep it ran. Fear was quiet, but relentless. It whispered through every chamber.
Isolation meant losing trade routes, and that could destroy the colony.
Economic survival was at stake. Every choice carried risk. Outside, life went on as usual. Inside, fear shaped every decision. The colony feared being alone. Alone meant vulnerability. Every decision felt like a gamble. Every door held uncertainty.
The fear of isolation hung over them, and no one could escape it.
This fear guided every vote, and history remembers it only quietly.
All the debates, all the tension, it came down to a single clause.
One word could change everything. One decision could shift history. Time stretched unbearably long. Every second added weight to the choice. The colony held its breath. The outcome was still uncertain. All eyes were on the parchment, yet the hall remained eerily silent.
Inside this simple envelope lay the fate of the colony. The clause affected more than one state. Its impact stretched across colonies.
Few understood its true power, but it determined everything to come.
The day had finally arrived. Every decision led to this moment.
The chamber was tense and silent. No voice dared to break it.
All eyes were on this single document. It would determine the colony's future.
The tension was palpable. Every heartbeat echoed in the room.
One stroke of ink could change history. One moment could tip the scales. Time seemed to stretch endlessly. Every second carried weight. The vote was ready to be revealed, and the colony held its breath.
South Carolina had spoken, and the course of history shifted forever. The choice was made, but the outcome carried far-reaching consequences. The chamber was still tense. History watched silently from every corner. Trade and survival hung in balance. Every decision would ripple through the colony. Nature itself mirrored the tension. The storm outside reflected the storm within. The colony's fate balanced on fragile decisions, and every choice mattered immensely. One signal could have changed everything, yet silence held the room in suspense.
Promises and fears intertwined, and no one could predict the consequences. The vote was only the start, and the colony's future hung in balance.
The vote was cast, and the colony had made its choice. Silence filled the room. Every heartbeat seemed louder than before. This seal confirmed the colony's decision, and no one could undo it. The harbor waited quietly. Trade and survival depended on this choice. Economic stability was restored, for now. But the colony remained cautious.
South Carolina had joined the Union, but it was not without compromise.
Outside, life resumed. Inside, history had been made.
South Carolina's vote echoed through time, and its consequences are still felt today. The vote was more than a single decision. It set the colony on a new path.
Trade flourished in the years that followed, and the colony began to prosper.
New governance structures were established, guiding South Carolina forward.
Connections with other states strengthened. Trade and influence expanded. Decades later, the impact was clear. The colony had secured its place. Economics, politics, and alliances shifted, all because of a single vote.
The colony's decision echoed far beyond its borders, a legacy that lasted for generations. South Carolina's vote became part of the nation's story, and its lessons remain today.
The choice came with fear, but also with hope for the future.
Every seat had felt the weight of history. Every heartbeat carried anticipation. One vote would echo through generations. One decision would define a colony. Outside, life moved on quietly. Inside, history had been made forever. The courage of this moment mattered most. Fear had been faced, and choice was taken. Trade, survival, and unity intertwined. A fragile balance held the colony steady. This small state shaped the nation's story. Its decision mattered far beyond its borders. South Carolina's choice echoes through history, a reminder of courage, fear, and hope.